CMP between EQT and Union Township for the Sarah Well Pad grading permit application.
I'll make a motion to approve the execution of the operation and maintenance agreement for the stormwater management, best management practices between EQT and Union Township for the Sarah Well Pad grading permit application.
I'll second that motion for the operation of the maintenance.
Okay, Supervisor Lawson motion, Supervisor Eskin second. Is there any deliberation? Roll call, please.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Ms. Dupree?
Yes.
Ms. Dare?
Yes.
Mr. Eskin?
Yes.
Mr. Trump?
Yes.
Item 13, approve denied the mediation settlement that occurred on March 10th, 2022 before Judge Michael Lucas concerning the Finleyville El Rama Sewer Project litigation between Union Township and Peters Creek Sanitary Authority, filed at number 2021-6087 and number 2022-0046 in the Washington County Court of Common Pleas. And with that, we have a very large motion to consider. If this is a proposed motion to approve or deny, and I shall read it now, unless.
Let me just give you some background. Our township and Peters Creek Sanitary Authority were ordered to mediation by Judge Michael Lucas of the Washington County Court of Common Pleas. And he appointed attorney Tom Vreeland to be the mediator. The mediation occurred in his courtroom. That's how interested and also how concerned Judge Lucas was that the matter be resolved. Initially, it was a mediation designed to address a global settlement of all issues between Peters Creek and Union Township. When it became apparent that we were not going to be able to achieve a global settlement, the judge said, I want you to mediate the Finleyville El Rama sewer problem. I don't want you to leave here today until you have an understanding or a meeting of the minds on how you're going to proceed with that project, because I'm concerned about the 20-plus residents that are dealing with this open sewage issue. So with that, we went into extensive mediation that lasted most of a Friday afternoon and concluded right around 5 o'clock. At the conclusion of the mediation, where the mediator takes both sides and goes in and out of different rooms, and we came up with at least an outline of a settlement that would handle the Finleyville Rama Sewer Project. Judge Lucas called us into his courtroom, attorneys only, and Attorney Vreeland reviewed a summary of the items that were discussed and agreed to by the parties. That has not been transcribed yet, but the motion that Mrs. Dare is going to read basically highlights the summary that Mr. Vreeland gave to Judge Lucas. And there was an open issue over two options, and that's where this was discussed. And then subsequent to that meeting, I know Jamie Harshman spent a lot of time going over the estimate and breaking down the charges for the benefit of the township so that they could understand the cost involved in choosing from two different options. And Mrs. Dare will review that.
Okay, and just before I read, this will go into the record. So, as I know there's a lot of concerned citizens on this issue. So, Bobby, this will go into the record after the board moves. So, the motion is to approve the settlement of the Finley El Rama litigation between Union Township and Peters Creek Sanitary Authority, filed 2021-6087 and number 2022-0046 in the Washington County Court of Common Pleas concerning the sewer project based upon mediation agreements reached between the parties on March 10th, 2022 as directed by Judge Michael Lucas. Item number 1, the mediator instructed the parties to consider two options to install public sewers in the Finley El Rama project. Option 1 is the existing design that has been approved by the DEP that would require the installation of 20 grinder pumps and an approximate cost of $500,000. This option has been engineered by Harshman Associates, and the 537 plan, along with the engineering plan, has been approved by the DEP. Option 2 was suggested by Peters Creek Sanitary Authority, herein known as PCSA, and the parties were asked to consider installation of a lift station in lieu of 20 separate grinder pumps. Following mediation, Mr. Harshman examined the potential cost to redesign the project, utilizing a lift station, and his estimates in that the cost would be in excess of $1 million. He also indicated that the project would be delayed 12 to 18 months insofar as it would need to be redesigned and submitted to the DEP for approval. Because of the added cost and the extensive delay, the township will agree to fund option 1 based on the construction estimate prepared by Harshman CE Group that will utilize grinder pumps. Number 2, PCSA will undertake the project and will be responsible to advertise, bid, supervise the construction, and inspect the sewer lines and installation and connection to the grinder pumps. 3, PCSA will be responsible for obtaining the easements from property owners for the grinder pumps, and in exchange for the easement, the township will pay the cost of each grinder pump. If a condemnation action is required, PCSA will undertake this at their expense and assess the cost of the grinder pump to the property owner. 4, PCSA will deal directly with the property owners and will discuss tap-in fees and monthly service charges, as well as informing the property owners that they will be responsible for the future maintenance, upkeep, and repair of the grinder pumps that service their particular dwelling. 5, the project must commence within 60 days. 6, PCSA will cooperate with the township in either installing a temporary piping system into the PCSA sewer main, or in the alternative, consider sharing in the cost of maintaining the holding tank to collect the sewage that is flowing in this area until the public system has been installed and the property owners are connected to the same. 7, the township will cooperate in requiring that each property owner tap into the system, and to the extent necessary will enforce its mandatory tap-in ordinance. And 8, Union Township and PCSA will negotiate in good faith a master service agreement that will identify the duties, responsibilities, notices of special assessments or rate increases, and remedies between Union Township and PCSA. Furthermore, there's a breakdown of preliminary cost estimates, and that'll be here for public review on what the actual total cost is going to look like with option 1. And so,
That'll be part of the minutes and the motion.
yes, this entire packet. So, board, any comments or thoughts before this is voted on? And I'm again going out of order because this has been such a long, arduous process, and I know there may be some questions.
Not for me, I don't have any questions.
We just need to get it done. I think we're good.
I'm looking again, do we say when this would commence? I know I
You
just
said
read
60 days.
60 days, okay. That was my only concern.
That can't be misunderstood, just starting engineering or something. I mean,
I mean, there's no guarantee that,
Yeah.
that this is gonna happen. It's a showing, it's demonstrating to the judge,
It's here.
we're
This is
mediating,
on the
we've
table.
approved it. Now, if there's a problem, he'll bring us right back into court immediately. So this is the first step.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the mediation settlement that occurred on March 10th, 2022 before Judge Michael Lucas concerning the Finley Rama Sewer Project litigation between Union Township and PCSA, file number 2021-6087 and number 2022-0046 in the Washington County Court of Common Pleas.
I'll second.
Okay, their motion, track second. Is there any deliberation? Roll call, please.
Before you do roll call, I'm gonna instruct Mr. Lawson to abstain from voting since he is a party to litigation that involves Peters Creek Sanitary Authority, and indirectly the township.
Mr. Eskin,
Yes.
Excuse me 1 second.
Time, wake up, everybody.
proceed with the roll call.
Okay, Mr. Eskin, you said yes. Mr. Trax?
Yes.
Ms. Dupree?
Yes.
Ms. Dare?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Abstain.
For the reason I stated in the minutes.
Okay, item number 14, approve, deny hiring outside contractor to inspect sewers in Arima resulting from leaks in lines. And then, this was a conversation we had at the last meeting. We were debating using our road department or hiring an outside contractor and getting, some bids. So. Yes.
If I can make one comment on that, so, I just wanted the board to know that I did speak with road crew because they did begin, sort of looking at this stuff, and they are taking notes, they do have data collected, I provided them with, what they were collecting was already what we wanted, but provided them with a sheet, so it's organized in the way that the board wanted. And they did identify, just at 3:30 as they were leaving, I spoke with them and they identified a general problem area they might think it is. So not saying that I wouldn't recommend doing this, but just wanted to keep you up to speed as to what the road crew has seen so far and is doing.
Is it your professional opinion that they've started and they have some work put in and to maybe table this till we see how things go in the next month or two, or what's your thoughts?
Now, if you vote to get bids together to see what the cost would be so that you can make a decision next meeting, I don't see anything wrong with that, but they have begun doing work, they do have the data. I did see what they were doing with sort of strategically not popping every manhole, but instead like where they collect, and then if there's a problem, working their way back up, which may or may not be the best way to do it, but I felt was okay. So, and they are collecting the data on it, so to get bids for next time to discuss further, I don't, think would be a bad idea in case in the next 2 weeks they don't come up with anything tangible that's helpful for us. Or, you can vote to have them to do this, but have them stop looking into this, that's a fine option.
Talking to Ron and Frank, they went down and talked to Weaver, and they were talking to one of the gentlemen down there. They were saying about a flow meter, and Rick, you might have a little bit more information on this. Where the intersection points come, they were talking about putting a flow meter like on where it comes down on one side, where I guess two of them come down and putting a flow meter on the right side and metering that during a rain and see what the flow is coming there, what it is without a rain, what it is with the rain, and then doing it on the left side with the rain and without a rain, to try to get where's the water coming in at, and without having a map here, I can't, they were showing me on the map, where the intersection points are, and what about, they asked me, well, what about if we put a flow meter here for a couple days and put a flow meter here for a couple days, and, I was gonna talk to you guys about it. What do you guys think? You guys are more onto this,
When we did the
Soil
soil
problem
testing,
stuff.
my memory's right, I think Jamie said you had to rent them for about $5,000 to
Oh,
put them in. My thinking is, bid it out, get some numbers. I reached out to a contractor, if you remember, months ago, he wanted $100, it come up to about $100 a manhole, or 75, I can't remember. I put the numbers on the road crew, it's gonna be about the same number, and the road crew got a full plate of road problems.
yeah.
My vote would be to reach out and get some prices.
Don't hurt.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve approve hiring an outside contractor or starting the bidding process, not bidding, but looking for, quotes within the guidelines that the state puts down on, I can't speak, to inspect the sewers in the rain resulting from leaks in the lines. That's a motion?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Dare motion, Eskin second, is there any deliberation? Okay, roll call please.